Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. We are starting another multi-chapter fanfiction today. This one was actually the second fanfiction that I ever wrote, and I actually wrote in my notes that it's kind of funny because it was the second one that I wrote, but it wasn't the second one that I ever posted. The one shot that is already on my channel called Ink in the Margins was partially developed from brainstorming for this fanfiction here, which is called Better Than Fiction. And I actually wrote this entire fanfic in about 3 days because it was just like in my brain. I couldn't get it out. I had to finish it. It's just shy of 6,000 words. It is a My Hero Academia fandom fanfiction. It is a relationship between Bakugo and Kirishima. Surprise, surprise. And they are the only two characters in the story. Some of the other tags for this story are secret identity, emotional hurt comfort, slow burn, alternate universe bookstore, angst with happy ending, second chances, first kiss, alternate universe canon divergence, alternate universe no quirks, and love confessions. Alright, again, this is Better Than Fiction. It is written by me, Beauty and the Bookshelf, and it is 9 chapters in total, so I'll probably do them in twos, and until I get to the last one. The last one will probably be 3, because I tend to write shorter chapters. Alright, this is chapter 1, Kindred Pages. Bakugo point of view. Bakugo liked quiet. Not the cold, sterile kind, the real kind, warm with stillness, where you could breathe without feeling watched, and where silence was calm but not empty. That's why he noticed the sign, painted wood, just weathered enough to feel real. Kindred Pages. It hung above a door nestled beside a florist, tucked down a side street like it had been forgotten on purpose. But the sign stopped him, the name. Something about it felt earned. Maybe it was the way the afternoon felt heavy, or maybe he just didn't feel like going home. Either way, he stepped inside. It smelled like coffee and old paper, comfort wrapped in familiarity. There weren't many people, just the low hum of voices and the soft shuffle of turning pages. The space was narrow but warm. Bookshelves arranged in winding paths instead of neat rows. Every corner felt intentional, curated, like someone gave a damn about more than just what was selling. That's when he heard the voice. "Okay, but listen," someone said with the kind of passion you couldn't fake. "I know it's not a big release or whatever, but I swear this book ruined me in the best way." Bakugo drifted closer before he could even think about it. The voice belonged to a redhead behind the cafe counter, animatedly recommending something to a customer. "It's this raw, kind of sharp love story, but not soft, you know? It's messy and real, and it made me feel like someone had been inside my head." The guy held up a book with a dark, minimal cover. Bakugo knew it immediately. How It Still Burns by Katsuya Arata, his pseudonym. The redhead, Kirishima, his tag read, grinned as he handed the book across the counter like it was sacred. "I'm serious. Katsuya Arata is criminally underrated," he added, juggling the book with one hand and a steaming latte in the other. "You think it's going to be a typical love story, and then it just isn't. It hits like a sucker punch, but in a good way. Like, it hurts, but you're glad it does? I don't know how else to explain it." Bakugo froze halfway to the poetry shelf, caught between the familiarity of his own words and the shock of hearing them loved by someone else. "I don't even care that no one's heard of it," Kirishima said, softer now. "I had to carry it here. Books like this deserve space, even if no one else knows they exist yet." Bakugo turned, heart thudding. He wasn't used to people liking his work out loud. Hell, he wasn't used to people even knowing it. He didn't say anything, just ordered a black coffee, paid in cash, and found a seat where he could watch without being seen. He caught Kirishima's eye and looked away instinctively, too used to hiding before someone could see too much. But he came back the next day, and the one after that, because he always liked quiet, but this was something else. Chapter 2. A Shared Spark. Kirishima POV. Kirishima noticed him after the second day. Hard not to. He always sat at the same table, ordered the same coffee, and never made eye contact. Not in a rude way, just like he was being careful. Still, Kirishima noticed everyone. It was his job, kind of. Or at least one of the parts he liked most. He didn't push. Some people liked their space. But after a week of quiet glances and book browsing with no conversation, he decided it was time. "Hey," he said casually, wiping his hands on a towel. "I feel like I've seen you around here enough times to say hi without it being weird." He smiled a little sheepishly. "You always look kind of busy or like you're thinking about something important, so I didn't want to bug you." Bakugo blinked, caught off guard by the friendliness, and honestly surprised anyone remembered how often he came in. "This might be random, but you've been coming here a lot recently. You read much, or are you more of a drink coffee, judge people silently type?" Kirishima asked, voice lightly teasing. "I read," Bakugo replies, looking around. "Nice. Ever read anything by Katsuya Arata?" Kirishima asked, face breaking into a grin. "Yeah, a few," Bakugo said, trying to sound casual and hoping the way he flinched wasn't noticeable. "No way! I love his stuff!" Kirishima's whole face lit up. "It's kind of niche. Most people haven't heard of him, let alone read more than one book." Bakugo shifted uncomfortably, eyes darting to the side. Kirishima didn't notice, too caught up in his excitement. "Did you like them? I never get to talk with people who've read his stuff before. What did you think?" Kirishima asked, genuinely excited. "They're fine," Bakugo shrugs, hoping this response would end the conversation. "Oh, just fine?" Kirishima deflated, slightly disappointed. He clearly thought he found someone who saw the same spark in those pages. Kirishima scratched the back of his neck and cleared his throat, trying to lighten the mood. "Sorry, that probably sounded super intense. Those books really hit me. Like, some of the stuff that guy writes, it's like he's been through the same hell as me, you know?" "Yeah, I know," Bakugo replied despite himself. Kirishima's grin softens into something smaller and more thoughtful. "Still cool you've read him, even if he's not your thing." Bakugo didn't reply, just stared into his coffee like it might say something for him. The silence lingered, but it wasn't uncomfortable, just uncertain, like neither of them knew what to do with it. Bakugo cleared his throat, sudden and a little rough. "So, can you recommend anything less soul-crushing?" Kirishima's smile returns in earnest. "Oh, totally. Want angst light with a happy ending? I've got like 3 off the top of my head. Hold on." Turning, he grabbed a book from the small stack on the shelf beside the counter. "Okay, this one's got found family, queer rep, and 0 tragic death. Guaranteed good vibes. Mostly." Bakugo snorts, barely hiding it. "Mostly?" "Hey, you said less soul-crushing, not none." Bakugo doesn't reach for it, just stares. "You seriously think it's worth reading?" Kirishima meets his eyes without flinching. "Yeah, I do." Bakugo huffs. "Whatever, I'll try it, but don't get your hopes up." Kirishima blinks, a flicker of cautious hope breaking through. "Seriously?" "You said it ends happy, didn't you?" "Mostly." Kirishima grins again, this time a little softer. "But yeah." Kirishima watched him go, the door chime echoing after he slipped into the fading light. He hadn't smiled or said much, but that snort, that meant something, probably. There was something about that guy, closed off, tough as nails, but maybe not as unapproachable as he seemed. Kirishima felt a flicker of curiosity, like maybe they weren't as different as he first thought. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for chapters 1 and 2. I hope that you're enjoying the beginning, although, there's not too much going on, just like our meet cute. Yeah, so I hope you'll come back for the next pieces, and I hope you enjoy the fic as a whole. All right, I'll see you guys next time.